Fate is like a gaze. This gaze has been ingrained since childhood. Perhaps the little girl has forgotten what she once said, but he will remember it for a lifetime because of the little girl's words. But it changed his life. She once said, if you're not married in the future, and I'm not married either, then let's make a couple. Speaking from a 10-year-old girl's mouth seems like a joke to people when we can meet again, but he wants to marry her as his wife. Chapter 1. Meeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who are you? How could you be at my house? A girl carrying a backpack, wearing a blue school uniform, and tied 2 small braids, holding a lollipop in her hand, loudly questioned a chubby, good-looking, and handsome boy sitting on the sofa. Little one, who are you? I'm not a little small, I'm a little small, but I'm already 10 years old. Besides, I asked you this first. This is home, who let you in? At first, you can't be so impolite. A teenager came out of the kitchen holding fruit. Brother, you're back. I miss you so much. On the first day of the Lunar New Year, Anyun was overjoyed to see her brother. She ran over and hugged his waist. Brother, as soon as I went to school in the morning, my parents went on a trip and left me alone, so pitiful. Anyun Chu cried as she spoke. Silly Chu Chu, my brother is back now. Our Chu Chu has grown taller again. Anyun Chu took the fruit plate in one hand and touched her head in the other hand. My brother will accompany you at home this week. My parents are busy back home, and will be back in about a week. Really? Really? Truly, absolutely, Brother Zian came to play with you at home. Anyun Chu pulled his sister to sit on the sofa and put down the fruit. Brother Zian. Is that him? Anyun Chu pointed at him. Chu Chu, you can't refer to people, that's not right. Call Zian brother quickly. Anyun Chu still listened to her brother's words. Brother Zian. Anyun Chu's voice was sweet and tender, listening very comfortably. Be good, Xiao Bu Jian. Pei Zian still called her Xiao Bu Jian. Humph. I've already said I'm 10 years old, but I'm just a small person. Indeed, Anyun is 10 years old and in 4th grade, but her height is even shorter than her peers, so she looks very small. It's really cute and small. How old are you? Pei Zian felt a bit bored, and chatting with Xiao Bu Jian was quite comfortable. 4th grade, Brother Zian, are you my brother's classmate? It's 4th grade now, reading is not great. Yes. We are high school classmates, and now that the college entrance examination is over, Brother Zian will come to your house to play. Are you happy? Anyun Chu started eating the fruits washed by her brother and didn't forget to give them to Pei Zian. Welcome, my grades are good because it's so boring to be alone at home. My parents are always busy with work and rarely accompany me out to play. Brother Yan, will you take me out to play? Okay. Brother Zian will take you out to play. Anyun Chu watched them chatting happily and didn't disturb them. He had to go and have dinner. Watching her brother go to the kitchen, Anyun Chu approached Pei Zian and whispered, Zian, I have something to ask you. Watching this little one suddenly approach, I feel a bit uncomfortable, but listening to this childish voice is very comfortable. Little one, what do you want to ask? Humph. You're talking about me being little again, I'm cute and small. Anyun Chu pretended to be very angry. Hee, it's quite cute, but very small, that's why it's the little one. Pei Zian looked at Anyun Chu, who was pretending to be angry. This little one is really cute, but unfortunately there is a mischievous little brother at home, which is not fun at all. Alright. My adult has a lot, I won't argue with you. Brother Zian, does my brother have a girlfriend? Pei Zian thought it was a bit unbelievable, why is this little one so concerned? What's wrong? Why are you asking this question? My brother is so handsome, her girlfriend must at least be able to handle it. Besides, you are round and cute. Although my brother doesn't judge people by appearance, his friends must be impressive. So, Brother Zian, are you very impressive? This little one's thinking is quite unique, with a good brain. You have to ask yourself if your brother has a girlfriend. As for me, it's okay. Pei Xian's answer was ambiguous, making it difficult for Yunchu, this little energy, to turn around. She is a simple girl who doesn't want to think much about this kind of question. Do you have a girlfriend, Brother Xian? Yunchu blinked her big eyes and asked Pei Xian. Pei Xian was suddenly confused, and he pretended to be very aggrieved. Little one, Brother Xian doesn't have it. He's ugly and fat, and no one wants it. It's very pitiful. Oh my goodness. Brother Xian, you look quite handsome, but you're just a little overweight. It's because they don't have the taste, don't be sad. Yunchu listened attentively and comforted him, while Pei Xian continued to tease her. That little one, what if no one wants to take care of Brother Xian in the future? Will you take care of me? Brother Xian, don't worry, if you don't have a girlfriend in the future, we'll make a couple and I'll be your girlfriend. Pei Xian didn't expect this little one to say such things, and he was surprised. Pei Xian looked at the little one's serious expression and laughed out loud. It was so cute, he really wanted to bring back the Demon King from the family to rebuild. Pei Xian has a younger brother who is 6 years younger than him. He is currently in 6th grade and thinks about playing every day. His parents are really helpless with him, only afraid of him. When his brother was not at home, he had to be king, which made his mother call him every day to let him go home. If it was not for the college entrance examination, he would have to relax, or his mother would have to urge him to go back and beat people. Chapter 2. Amusement Park. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dinner, and Yunchu simply made 2 dishes, 1 soup, 1 meat, 1 vegetable, and 1 soup. These ingredients were prepared by his mother in advance before the trip. Xian, simple food, don't take it for granted. Yunchu ran to serve the meal, and her brothers praised her for being sensible. Brother, it's so delicious. The craftsmanship is good, it looks like my sister.in.law will have a good appetite in the future. I also want to find a boy who can cook like my brother in the future, and can only specially give me the one to eat. Although Yunchu is only 10 years old, this is a bunch of crazy ideas. No matter how old you are, just thinking about finding a boyfriend in the future. Little people make big ghosts. Yunchu lightly tapped her head, although it was a criticism on the surface, his tone was full of indulgence. No way. I'm already 10 years old, and that's what I said to Brother Xian. Since Brother Xian doesn't have a girlfriend in the future, we'll get together, so he has to know how to cook for me. Yunchu said these words, and Pei Xian and Yunchu, who happened to be drinking soup, sprayed the soup out directly. Yunchu, do you know how embarrassed you are? You even got together as a couple. The people chasing after your Brother Xian are lined up in a street. It's not your turn to worry. Hey Yunchu, don't just talk nonsense. There's no such thing as that. Little one, don't listen to your brother's words. He lied to you, he should have long ears. Pei Xian immediately found a topic to stop this problem, otherwise it would really be endless. Xiaobu Dian, do you want to go out and play tomorrow Saturday? Is it really possible to go out and play? Upon hearing the play, Yunchu's eyes were immediately attracted and she chased after her, asking where she wanted to go to play. Yunchu stared at these 2 people and shook his head. He never expected his own sister's words to lead them into the hall of marriage. Although Yunchu didn't pay much attention, Pei Xian still had a slight impact after Yunchu finished speaking. After all, it was the first time a girl had said that to him, and he was still a little kid. He didn't expect the 2 of them to really become married in the future. Brother Xian, how about we go to the amusement park tomorrow? Yunchu stared at him with a pair of harmless big eyes, and he felt a knock in his heart. For a moment, he wanted to take this little one home and raise him, but he was scared by his own thoughts. Shall we take you to the amusement park to play? Good. Brother Xian is really good. She smiled sweetly at Pei Zian, her heart turning cute as she looked at him. Hurry up, eat. And Yunchu stopped the silly and sweet little sister and shook her head. And Yunchu didn't care. As soon as she heard that she could go to the amusement park to play, she was overjoyed. After finishing her meal, she ran in to do her homework. I'm full now, I need to hurry up and do my homework. I'll go play happily tomorrow, haha, and Yunchu threw down the dishes and immediately ran into the room to study, leaving the two of them shaking their heads. Amusement park, two handsome-looking teenagers, one chubby and one skinny, are holding a cute elementary school student, with a high rate of turning heads on their bodies. Brother, I'm going to ride a roller coaster. And Yunchu broke out in a cold sweat. When you're only a little old, you can play a carousel. His intuition vetoed, no, as long as it's not exciting, you can play whatever you want. And Yunchu was a bit disappointed. These projects were supposed to be exciting, but her brother refused. There's no way, only those who contribute money are the boss. Let's go ride on the carousel. Holding her two brothers, and Yunchu slowly became happy and played it over and over again, causing them both to suffer a lot. In the end, Pei Zian went on strike and sat in the lounge chair panting heavily. Oh no! I can't do it anymore, this carousel is going over and over again, I'm almost sick. Not only did Pei Zian strike, but even Yunchu couldn't bear it, but she didn't want to continue playing. At first, take a break. It's too tiring. And Yunchu agreed to take a break when she saw them like this. After resting, the three continued to search for the next goal. Brother, I want that little rabbit doll. And Yunchu held their hands and pointed to the nearby shooting balloon. Both Pei Zian and Yunchu enjoy this project, and they also play shooting in their spare time. Zian, should we have a comparison? No problem. What's the bet? The loser washes the dishes tonight. Sure. And Yunchu let out a start sound, and the two of them aimed at the balloon and fired a shot. In the end, they were evenly matched, looking at each other and laughing. The shop owner is holding two dolls, a little rabbit and a little dog. Don't mention how happy Yunchu is, getting what she likes makes her heart skip a beat. Thank you, brother. After a moment of operation, the sky also darkened and countless household lights were lit up. And Yunchu was also tired, and she fell asleep on her brother's back. It seems that the amount of exercise for the day has been saturated the next day, and Yunchu woke up early. Bedding together without wearing any shoes, I ran straight to my brother's room. Brother, wake up. Where else are we going to play today? I heard that and Yunchu didn't want to answer, so I continued to sleep. No matter what she calls it, and Yunchu won't answer. There's no way, she can only go find Pei Zian. Pei Zian returned with breakfast in his hand. Little one, get up. Come and have breakfast quickly. Okay, I'll go brush my teeth and wash my face. Wait for me. And Yunchu finished everything, and Pei Zian also took a shower and changed his clothes. Brother Zian, where are we going to play today? Little one, where do you want to go to play? I don't know. And Yunchu is a person with choice difficulties. As long as someone takes her to play, she can enjoy it to the fullest. By the way, Brother Zian, how could your and your brother's marksmanship be so accurate? How handsome. Exactly. We all like it very much, and we also go to play in our spare time. Brother Zian, do you know? Brother wants to join the military, and we all support him very much. I really like being a soldier, and being a soldier is so handsome. Pei Zian couldn't think of it at all. It was a bit unbelievable. I know. Brother Zian, are you also going to join the army? You must be very handsome too. Pei Zian didn't answer her question, but asked her in reverse. Do you want me to join the army? Pei Zian said half-jokingly, not knowing why he would ask her this question, and it was still with a child who was still wet and wet. Ku and Yunchu naively said, I want to. Pei Zian changed his ambition because of this. Chapter 3, respectively. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Your brother Zian won't join the army, his ambition is to study abroad. And Yunchu yawned as he walked out. And Yunchu felt a bit regretful upon hearing it, but unfortunately it was of no use. She remained silent. saidBut, do you want to join the army? I think so. But neither my brother nor my father will let me go. They say joining the army is too tiring and they don't want me to suffer. Pei Zian also felt that there was a lovely sister who really couldn't bear to let her suffer. It can be said that the demon king in the family really needs to let him suffer a bit, and he must go for exercise. Indeed, saidBut is so cute that she really can't bear to let you suffer. That's it. She can only stay at home. And Yunchu couldn't bear to let his precious little sister suffer a little bit. It's okay for boys to suffer a little bit, but girls just want to be beautiful. And Yunchu pouted, although she was unhappy, thinking of joining the army. Isn't it boring for her parents to be at home? In the next few days, and Yunchu will go to school and finish school every day. In the evening, the two of them will also take her out for a walk to relax and unwind. After all, playing with children is too enjoyable for her. saidBut, what university do you want to attend? Pei Zian watched TV with Yunchu, and he impulsively asked Yunchu. I don't know, but seeing those prestigious schools makes me itch. Haha, although she is carefree at home and has no worries, and her family loves her dearly, she is required to be self-disciplined and not fall behind in her studies. Especially when she sees her brother being so excellent, she feels that she cannot hold back. saidBut, if you choose to study in a city in the future, remember to come find me. Brother Zian will take you to eat delicious food. Alright. Brother Zian, are you from a city? And Yunchu has heard of a city, which people refer to as a bustling city and a place they long for. Yeah. Come and find me when you come over. Okay. Hook up, don't forget about it then. Pei Zian accompanied her in such a childish gesture, and their laughter spread in the hall. What makes you so happy? I won't tell you, this is our password. The two of them said in unison on that day, and Yunchu went to school, and Pei Zian returned to a city one day early. When she returned from school, she couldn't find Pei Zian, and her mood was a bit low. Brother, has Brother Zian returned? Yeah, there's something at home, so he went back a day early. Oh, don't even tell me when you go back. I hate it. Pei Zian returned to City A, and his family was in a mess because of this troublemaker. His father was busy with work at the company and rarely cared about the family. His mother was his beloved and he couldn't bear to let her get angry and do household chores. All the household chores were done by his aunt. Pei Zian is a typical wealthy second generation, and because he is overweight, he is completely unrecognizable. And because he is the youngest demon in the family, everyone loves him, so he is a bit lawless. Mom, I'm back. The Pei family has high expectations of Pei Zian. He has been very obedient since childhood and doesn't have to worry about his parents, while this younger brother is different. Brother, you're back. Sai, you don't know my younger brother. He makes me unhappy every day. If you're not at home, he'll be king. Pei Ziheng, the goddess, sat on the sofa, cried out in frustration about Pei Ziheng's mistake. What about him? He hasn't finished school yet. After school, I never get home on time. Mom, don't cry. I'll put the things back in the room first, and I'll tidy him up when he comes back. Okay. Pei Goddess watched as her eldest son returned, feeling extremely happy. Finally, someone came to suppress the bear child. Put everything away, calculate the time. The Demon King should have returned, and he has indeed returned. Aunt Yang, I want to eat ice cream. Bring it to me quickly. It's getting so hot that it's killing me. Before anyone could enter, the voice had already entered, and the servants were hiding in the kitchen. Hung Hung is back. Are you tired? Hey Goddess had a look of schadenfreude, making you feel uneasy. Someone will take care of you later. Chapter 4. Mixed World Demon King. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. I want to eat ice cream. It's too hot. Pei Ziheng threw his backpack directly on the sofa, shouting that he wanted to eat ice cream, and the servants couldn't help him. Hung Hung, eating ice cream or something will hurt your stomach. Drink water first. Pei Goddess kindly reminded him, but she didn't tell his brother that he was back. No, I just want ice cream. The Demon King rolled on the floor when his mother refused to give him ice cream. Hung Hung, are you sure? Before my brother went on a trip, he told you not to eat ice cream anymore. If you continue to roll around like this, your brother will throw you out. Pei Goddess reminded him with a smile, and if you continue to behave like this, I'll let your brother take care of you. Humph, brother doesn't know if I've eaten ice cream. As long as you don't tell me, who else dares to say that he can play outside now? Brother, he said it will take a few days. Pei Ziheng's advice was of no use, he just wanted to eat ice cream. Are you sure? Pei Zian heard his voice as he was tidying up in the room. It seemed that he wasn't at home, and this Demon King was really annoying. Pei Ziheng didn't look up at the second floor, only heard a sound, nor did he listen. He answered with a blank answer, yes. I don't care, I just want to eat ice cream. Are you sure? Pei Zian slowly walked down and confirmed again. Sure, and sure. He had no idea that the brother who had shown him a video yesterday that he would come back in a few days was standing next to him at this moment. Say what you just said again. Standing next to the stairs, Pei Zian was like a god punishing demons, with a halo all over his body. Pei Goddess was enchanted, my son is so handsome. Pei Ziheng was not afraid of death and shouted loudly, I just want to eat, it's the same how many times I say it. When Pei Goddess heard this voice, she was really sweating for this foolish son. Now that she has so much confidence, she will know the tragedy later. She couldn't help but think, why is the difference between these two children so big, the same parents? But fortunately, my brother can take care of him. Pei Zian brought ice cream from the kitchen and walked to Pei Ziheng's side. He squatted down and looked at Pei Ziheng with his back to him. Your good day is over, and he handed the ice cream to him. When Pei Ziheng saw the ice cream, he was so happy that he took it and sat up, ready to open it to eat. Seeing the food in front of me, I realized something was wrong and slowly lifted my head, shouting loudly. Ah ghost, seeing his brother's mischievous smile, Pei Ziheng was so scared that he threw away his favorite ice cream and wanted to escape, but unfortunately it was not his brother's match. Pei Zian grabbed his collar, picked him up, and threw him outside. Pei Zian summoned Aunt Yang to bring tools for cleaning dog manure, and he threw the tools to Pei Ziheng. Clean up the dog poop at home, and remember that if it's a bit unclean, today's is remember dinner. Brother, I was wrong. I dare not dare again. Pei Ziheng cried uncontrollably and admitted his mistake to his brother. Pei Ziheng, the opportunity has already been given to you. It's because you're living too comfortably. Let's take action. Pei Ziheng knew that even if he didn't do it now, his brother would definitely have a way to clean him up. He cried and picked up tools to clean up, while Pei Zian was drinking a cold drink under the sun umbrella, blowing a fan, and wearing sunglasses, not to mention how comfortable it was. The servant and the goddess Pei were both laughing on the side. It's good for the young master to come back, only he can deal with this demon king. Do you remember one time when Pei Ziheng cut off someone's clothes? In a fit of anger, his brother threw him into a doghouse and slept with the dog for 3 days. I was caught by his brother this time and I don't know how he handled it. Amen, pray. Pei Ziheng knew that his brother was not joking with him, so he could only cry and do it. After an hour, Pei Ziheng's whole body was already foul-smelling, especially on hot days, the smell was really captivating. Brother, it's already done. Pei Ziheng couldn't bear the smell on his body and wanted to go take a shower quickly. Pei Ziheng walked over with a bag of things, checked it, and also spilled the things on his hand. Pei Ziheng didn't notice his brother's actions and only heard him say, "It's not clean." Pei Ziheng ran over and started crying at first glance. "Wu Wu, I have already cleaned up, why will there be any?" Wu Wu, when he saw his brother's bag, he knew that it was all given by his brother, so he had to ask for trouble. According to his mother's words, "I don't listen to the old man, but I will suffer before my eyes." It was Pei Ziheng at this moment. Pei, the goddess, was mesmerized by the window when she laughed and said, "Haha, you stinky little boy, keep playing. I thought no one could hold you down. Madam, won't you go and persuade me? Aunt Yang, Heng, this stinky kid, must have his brother deal with him, otherwise he will be lawless and impolite. His brother will have a sense of propriety." These two children were both watched by Aunt Yang as they grew up. Although they were 6 years apart, they had completely different personalities. Pei Zian was a sensible and academic achiever since childhood, and was considered a good child by others. Although Pei Ziheng's grades are not bad and his character is not bad, he has too many hands and feet, which is too domineering. That's also true. The young master has been sensible since childhood and doesn't have to worry about anything. The young master is not bad, but has a childish temper and is more active. Yeah. The personalities of these two children are really vastly different. Only my brother can suppress him. The sound of cars outside the door stopped, and the head of the Pei family returned. Pei Ziheng, as if seeing a savior, threw down his tools and ran over to hug his father, crying as his brother punished him. Pei's father knew immediately that this young son must have done something outrageous again, so that his brother could personally punish him. He knew that this little son was just too mischievous. "Why is it so smelly?" Dad Pei pushed away Pei Ziheng with a hint of disgust, and the goddess Pei covered her nose and laughed loudly beside her. "Pei Ziheng, you also have today, it smells so bad." Pei goddess gave her eldest son a thumbs up. "Dad, you're back." "Well, you're back. How were you playing?" When Pei's father talked to his eldest son about going out, he completely ignored Pei Ziheng's situation, which made him cry uncontrollably. "Wu Wu, Dad, am I your biological child?" Pei Ziheng said these words countless times. The two brothers looked different, the younger brother looked more like his mother, and the older brother was a combination of his parents. Therefore, Pei Ziheng's words were beyond doubt, and no one paid attention to him. Pei's father lifted his legs and prepared to enter. Pei Ziheng sat on the floor, holding his thighs and wailing loudly. "Dad, my brother bullied me. You have to help me." Dad Pei wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Pei Zian. "Pei Ziheng, continue. If you don't clean up before dinner, you don't even need to eat dinner." "Give it a try." Upon hearing this, Pei Ziheng cried even louder. He also knew what his brother had to do, and his parents would never interfere, especially when punishing Pei Ziheng. Pei Ziheng let go of his hand and picked up his tools in frustration to continue working. In this way, Pei Ziheng was cleaned up by his brother for a week, personally sending him to and from school every day, doing homework obediently at home, and not daring to be mischievous. He restrained himself a lot. Even though Pei Ziheng was being punished by his brother, he still loved his brother the most because his brother was amazing in everything. He wanted to become someone like his brother, so he felt it was a great honor to be remembered by his brother. Chapter 5. Past. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pei Zian has been separated from An Yunchu for 12 years now. An Yunchu successfully passed the imperial examination and was admitted to the north of Beijing. She always thought of going to a city to find her brother Zian. Unfortunately, when she was about to come to a city, his brother told her, "Zian brother, he's going to join the army." Not only did Pei Zian join the army, but even her brother and Yunchu also joined the army, suddenly losing some things around him. During her college years, Yunchu studied very seriously. Her older brother was in the army and only called her when he had time. She really wanted to ask her brother, which army is Xian's brother in. Unfortunately, I don't know in what capacity to ask. For the past decade or so, they have been like two parallel lines without any intersection. Now, Yunchu has also started working. She and her best friend have partnered to open a dance studio. She majored in dance in college and is not as tall as others, but she is very serious and hardworking. And Pei Xian chose to join the military when he was in college. His decision was only due to Yunchu's change, which lasted for 10 years. Although he hadn't seen her for more than 10 years, he always had her in his heart. He always said he treated her as his sister, but his longing for her grew day by day. He is not in the same army or place with Yunchu. His mother has been urging him to come back, but he is still hesitant. I just came back from vacation recently because my best brother Yunchu is getting married. He also wants to come back and see his little one. I haven't seen her for so many years, and I don't know how she is now. I feel a little excited to see her soon. Do you think this little one has a boyfriend? I feel uncomfortable in my heart. Brother, congratulations. You also need to hurry up, you're almost becoming an old bachelor. By a wide margin, I am now the most handsome time. When it comes to getting married, it depends on fate. Even fate cannot stop me. When did you apply to return to City A? It's not confirmed yet. Xian, your ambition in high school was to study abroad and come back to pick up your father's company. Why did you think about joining the military when you were in college? I asked you before, but you never said. With all these years of brothers, the person who can make you change your decision must hold a considerable weight in your heart. Pei Xian didn't answer, just thought back and asked her, do you want me to join the army? Think. Because of this sentence, he decisively changed his ambition. Pei Xian smiled but remained silent as he drank. Pei Xian is very handsome now. He has lost his weight and had a haircut. He has been in the army for a long time and his skin has become dark. He has a healthy skin tone and is now sunny. Where's your sister? She graduated from college, right? Pei Xian opened the topic and asked Yunchu. She has graduated and is now partnering with friends to open a dance studio in a city. Pei Xian wants to ask if she has a boyfriend. But he didn't know what identity to use to ask, so he could only back down. And Yunchu looked at his good friend who wanted to ask but didn't know how to ask. He could probably guess how much, so he could only shake his head. Not bad. When will you go back? Pei Xian changed the topic. Tomorrow night, go back first. Go back and prepare. Brother, you'll have to come a day earlier, you know. Okay. I will arrive on time. The two of them stayed for a while before going back. Pei Xian did not return to Pei's house, and both parents had already rested. Only Pei Ziheng was playing games in this place. Brother, you're back. Do you want to have a round and relax? Pei Ziheng is currently working in his own company and has been squeezed by his brother since childhood. When his brother joined the military, he suddenly became enlightened overnight and his personality underwent a revolutionary change. Everything is mainly focused on his family, and he also helps his family members. He always tells his brother about anything, as his mother said. When my brother grows up, he knows he needs to change for his family. It's very gratifying. Sure. Pei Xian took the game console and the two brothers started playing. Brother, when are you going back to the army? Half a month later, it depends on whether the troops have been recalled or not. Brother, why did you choose to join the military? My parents always thought you would choose to study abroad, but they didn't expect you to tell them you were going to join the military. I thought you were only going for a few years, but I didn't expect you to go for so many years. Pei Xian did not return and continued playing the game. This was the second person in the day, and it was his own decision not to bring anyone else up. Although he was playing the game, unfortunately his mind was absent. Minded. Looking at his brother not saying anything, Pei Ziheng no longer continued to inquire. His brother has always been very rational in his actions, and I believe there must be his reasons for making this decision. Chapter 6. Long time no see. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 7. Her growing up. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After dinner, a few young people took a break and began to decorate the room. And Yunchu was going over to welcome the wedding in the evening. And Yunchu found 4 friends as brothers, including Pei Zian. They changed into suits, combed their hair, and stood together in a beautiful scenery. Pei Zian's handsomeness was the most irresistible. These 4 people, except for Pei Zian, who is single, all have girlfriends. Zizi Pei Zian, you are such a beauty disaster. You look really demonic. You said you were fat and ugly when you were in high school. You said you went for plastic surgery. Why did you become so demonic? Pei Zian from high school is chubby with acne all over his face, but it doesn't affect his handsomeness and temperament. Now, in his more than 10 years of military life, he has lost weight and become sturdy, and the acne on his face has disappeared, which is why his handsome and temperament are suddenly highlighted. Pei Zian simply said coldly, this is naturally handsome, envious, jealous, and resentful. Yang Su covered his chest and pretended to be injured on the side, and Yunchu looked at the handsome Pei Zian and felt a bit at a loss. In order to prevent herself from overthinking, she could only focus on decoration. Pei Zian could tell that Yunchu was feeling uneasy. He walked over and stood beside her, watching her. And Yunchu knew he was coming, but she didn't dare to speak. She kept busy with her work, and from side to side, Pei Zian also moved along to see when this little one could talk to him. No matter how long Pei Zian stood, she remained silent and busy with her work. Pei Zian didn't expect this little girl to be really calm, but what he didn't know was that her inner turmoil was turbulent. Xiao Budian, you really don't want to talk to me anymore. Pei Zian's voice rang out next to her, which was very rich and pleasant to listen to. And Yunchu couldn't resist it a bit. That's there, and Yunchu dared not look at him and spoke intermittently. Then why don't you dare to look at me? Didn't you see me busy? And Yunchu still didn't dare to look at him, staring at the work at hand. Is that right? Pei Zian asked him with a smile. Looking at his imagination that had not left, and Yunchu looked at him and said, I'm just looking at you. I'm looking at you. And Yunchu's voice became quieter and more uncomfortable as she moved back. She even lowered her head and looked at their toes. Pei Zian touched her head and spoiled her, saying, I've grown up and I know I'm shy now. No. Her voice was very low, buzzing like a mosquito. Neither of them moved, one coquettishly lowered her head, and the other looked at her indulgently. This loving image was shattered by an disharmonious voice. Ziyan and Yunchu looked at the scene of his good brother and his own sister, surrounded by pink bubbles, and it was false to say that they were fine. Both of the 2 people who heard the sound unconsciously, and Yunchu blushed and turned her head away, bowing her head absent-mindedly to continue her work. Pei Zian's face was a bit displeased due to being disturbed. He remained calm and put his hand down, inserting it into his pocket. What's wrong? With such a cold voice, and Yunchu could even tell his displeasure by breaking his toes, and his reaction further confirmed his idea that this brother had a scene with his own sister. No, they're all ready to go. Why are you still dragging around? Let's go. As Yunchu walked, he said, Pei Zian followed behind, but what he was thinking was Yunchu. After they left, Yunchu patted her rosy little face and took a deep breath. I thought to myself, what's wrong with me? My heart keeps pounding. Didn't I treat him well before? How could I become so reserved now? Oh no. I don't want to. After patting her face, and Yunchu continued working. At 2 o'clock in the morning, they also got married and returned, and Yunchu had already fallen asleep. Pei Xian's eyes have been searching for her since he returned. After checking the time, she should have fallen asleep so late. After informing Yunchu, he also returned to the hotel to rest. After Yunchu returned from the military, he seized the opportunity to establish an internet company with his exceptional talent. He met his wife Su Yin because of a drinking party. She was 2 years younger than Yunchu, and they had a great conversation. They got to know each other and developed a good impression. They got along like this, and after 3 years, their company went public. Both families were very satisfied, and they felt that their boss was not small, so they decided to get married. Chapter 8. Touching the Hearts. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Amidst a festive and lively atmosphere, a new couple successfully completed the ceremony under the guidance of the MC. As the younger sister of Yunchu, she couldn't do without praise from others and the red thread from others. Today, she is wearing a pink dress, outlining her graceful figure, coupled with her seductive face. With long hair and waist length, she is a living beauty. When Pei Xian first saw her, his eyes were fixed on her, staring at Yunchu at a loss. From his eyes, he could see the feeling of him wanting to dissect himself. When Pei Xian saw her, the first thought in his mind was to hide her. Her beauty could only be seen by himself, and for a moment he felt very domineering, even scared himself. Yunchu was so tired that she didn't want to speak, nor did she want to be led by this group of people. The banquet was almost over, and Yunchu and the others were seeing off guests. After telling her parents, she ran to a quiet place to sit and rest. After a rare moment of tranquility, Yunchu felt much happier. She stepped on 5 centimeters high heels and felt a bit tired at the end of the day. She rubbed her calves. Pei Xian's eyes were always following her, so he knew every move she made. As he watched her come out, he also followed her. What's wrong? Does your foot hurt? Pei Xian stood in front of her. It's you. Why did you come out too? Yunchu didn't expect him to come too. What's wrong? Who do you think came over? I'm not welcome. Hearing her say this, Pei Xian felt a little jealous. No. Yunchu lowered her head and continued to pinch her calves. Suddenly, Pei Xian knelt down on one knee, holding her small hands with a pair of big hands. Their eyes touched each other, but neither of them spoke. Yunchu felt that these hands had thick calluses, which should have been honed through long-term training in the military camp. And Yunchu's hands were as smooth and soft as bones. The temperature on their hands rose to their faces, especially Yunchu, who blushed. She quickly withdrew her hands and shyly said. Before he could finish speaking, Pei Xian gently lifted Yunchu's calves and placed them on his own, gently rubbing them with his warm hands. Yunchu wanted to resist and step out, but Pei Xian wouldn't give her any chance. Yunchu's blushing face can even drip blood, blushing to the roots of her ears. She dared not look at him, nor did she dare the movements of his hands, but her heart was haunting and forcing her to look. She stared at him, a bit distracted, not even knowing that Pei Xian had stopped his movements. The two looked at each other again, and Yunchu saw them not far away, only seeing each other in their eyes. Yunchu once again confirmed the doubts in his heart. The reason why this brother chose to join the army was 100% because of his own sister. Haha, Pei Xian, you'll have to call me uncle in the future. He's very satisfied with Pei Xian being his brother. Law in his heart. He picked up his phone and froze this scene. Pei Xian looked at Yunchu's appearance and wanted to kiss him, but he restrained his inner thoughts. He didn't know what he was thinking inside, nor did he know what Yunchu felt about him. What's wrong? I'm captivated. Upon hearing Pei Xian's voice, Yunchu felt uneasy and turned her head in another direction, using clumsy excuses to say, there's nothing like that. She quickly put down her foot and said, thank you. Pei Zian didn't say much when she saw this. He sat next to her. When are you going to City A? It should take 2 days. I will also return to a city in a few days. How about giving me a ride there then? An Yun had already invited him when she first saw him, and she wasn't affected either. Why didn't she take the free car? It's embarrassing. Okay. Pei Zian didn't expect her to agree so quickly, thinking she would still find various reasons to evade. I will be here these 2 days, unfamiliar with the place of life. Can you please take me around then? Sure. The two of them sat silently like this, fearing that the air would suddenly quiet down. The two of them only went back because An's mother called An Yun Chu after the wedding. An's mother wanted to invite Pei Zian to her home for dinner, but Pei Zian evaded her by saying she had something to do. After all, An Yun Chu was newlywed, so it would be embarrassing to disturb her again. Anyway, I'm also scheduled to meet An Yun Chu these 2 days, so I'm not afraid of not meeting. After separation, An Yun Chu immediately took off her high heels, took off her makeup, took a shower, and lay in bed on a date with Zhou Gong, without even having dinner. An Yun Chu didn't expect to dream of her marrying Pei Zian, which scared her out of bed. Ouch. I'm scared to death. How could you do such a thing? She also completely lost her drowsiness, got up to play with her phone, looked at the photos taken yesterday, one by one, and saw the photos of her brother and brother together. She paused, enlarged the photos, and looked at Pei Zian. She continued to look down and saw a picture of 2 people standing shyly together, handsome and beautiful, standing side by side. She remembered that when taking this photo, it was her brother who suggested it, but she had intended to decline. It was evident that he was waiting for her in front of the person taking the photo, but her brother pushed her forward and couldn't force her to move forward. This was the first picture they met in more than a decade. An Yun Chu enlarged the photo and looked at Pei Zian's face, lost in thought. If he were my boyfriend, that would be great. She was taken aback by this idea. He was handsome, wealthy, and had a promising future, typical of high wealth and handsomeness, while I was simply a clown in front of him. Sigh. I don't want to. She looked at her phone and found that the person Xiaoqin pushed her on WeChat had passed and sent her a message, which was also sent yesterday. She was too tired last night and didn't reply in time. She glanced at it and replied briefly, but there was no follow-up. Chapter 9. Playing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. An Yun Chu was stunned for a while, thinking about making an appointment with him to go out for a walk today. After checking the time at 8 o'clock, she forgot to schedule a time with him last night and didn't have his contact information, so she didn't know how to contact him. She got up to brush her teeth and wash her face, repeatedly selecting clothes, and finally chose a white chiffon shirt, paired with a pleated skirt, wearing a pair of small white shoes, tied with a half ponytail, and painted light makeup. She was a lively high school student, very immature. She picked up her small backpack and went out, thinking of waiting for him at the door. Unexpectedly, she wanted to see a handsome man leaning against the car, with his hands inserted and his head lowered, his gaze shining on his side face. The scene was so captivating that one couldn't take their eyes away. Pei Zian woke up early and had good morning luck. He was excited to think that he could go out for a walk with her later, but he nodded loudly at the thought of not knowing how to contact her. I was originally planning to send a message to An Yun Chu, but I thought they were just newlyweds. I'm sorry to disturb them, so he chose to stay downstairs at her house and wait for a rabbit. Their eyes intertwined, and An Yun Chu walked over with a smile. You came so early. Have you been waiting for a long time? No, just arrived. Pei Zian didn't tell the truth. He waited here for more than an hour and gentlemanly opened the car door to let An Yun Chu in. As soon as she got into the car, Pei Zian handed her breakfast. How do you know I haven't had breakfast yet, thank you. She rudely took breakfast and ate it without any pretense. Pei Zian saw her cute appearance and smiled. He remembered something and handed her the phone, looking at her bewildered expression. Enter your phone. Oh, and Yunchu handed over her phone and lost. Add WeChat as well. What should I do? Why don't I operate it? Pei Zian realized that she saw me driving with both hands, without any extra hands. And Yunchu understands now. Okay. She was about to open his phone and found that the screen was already locked. Locked. What is the password? Pei Zian's password 469s should be as simple as possible. So simple. Haha, Pei Zian gave a glance and An Yunchu immediately shut up. Alright. An Yunchu wanted to return her phone to him after finishing it. Pei Zian instructed her to take it for a while and get off the car before giving it to him. An Yunchu guided the two to the amusement park to play. Seeing this, Pei Zian nodded and said, "This is what you call a fun place." Yeah. Seeing An Yunchu at the amusement park, she was like an immature child, afraid of him turning back and pulling him to run. For the first time, pulling at close range like this, the warmth in his palm gave Pei Zian a different feeling in his heart. After running a distance, An Yunchu released his hand uncomfortably and explained, "I'm sorry, I thought you weren't coming, so." Just as An Yunchu let go of his hand, his heart felt a bit empty and disappointed. He forced himself to say, "It's okay, let's go." The two of them played various games throughout the day, and An Yunchu wanted to try the haunted house the most. She held on to Pei Zian's clothes. "Brother Zian, can you take me to play in a haunted house?" An Yunchu's voice was very low, a bit coquettish. The staff on the side thought they were a couple and reminded Pei Zian, "Brother, haunted houses can increase our relationship. And your girlfriend also said she wants to go see it, indicating that she wants more protection from you." When the two heard about girlfriend, neither of them refuted, but Pei Zian liked the three words, girlfriend, very much. Pei Zian pulled her to buy tickets and walked side by side with her. Just as she entered, she didn't feel anything. As she reached the middle, it became more eerie and strange, causing An Yunchu to feel uneasy. Suddenly, something touched her foot, which frightened her and made her scream loudly. She hugged Pei Zian and started screaming. Pei Zian hugged her and comforted her softly, don't cry, that's all fake." An Yunchu was so scared that she hugged Pei Zian's hand and leaned tightly against him. The body odor on An Yunchu was very fresh, unlike the scent of shower gel, which was intoxicating. The fragrance of the shower gel on Pei Zian's body is very light and pleasant, unlike other boys who have a sweaty smell. His whole body emits a masculine scent. The intertwined smell of male and female students made their hearts race and feel a bit dizzy. Pei Zian clenched her waist and An Yunchu took a deep breath, feeling itchy in her heart. In this environment, neither of them felt well. As Pei Zian was a soldier, he quickly understood the direction, smell, and movement at a glance, and soon they came out. No one mentioned the action just now. Although they didn't mention it, their expressions were very different, and anyone could tell that they had a problem. The two of them didn't continue playing due to the haunted house incident, and after finishing their meal, they went back. Chapter 10. Chaotic Mandarin Duck Genealogy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the beginning, are you going to a city tomorrow? Anne's mother was very reluctant to let her daughter work so far away. I have been urging her to come back but I am unwilling. Keep going back and move the bricks. Why do you say you're a girl running so far from home? You're not familiar with life and there's no one around to take care of. Listen to your mother, how about we come back here to work? The thought of her being alone made her worried. Mom, it's okay. I work and get off work every day, and my colleagues take good care of me. With convenient transportation now in planes and high-speed trains available, it's fast. I can also come back frequently. An Yunchu hugged her mother and acted coquettishly, but she didn't want to stay at home all the time. Then you're alone outside, so be sure to pay more attention to safety. If you have anything to do, call us, okay? By the way, have you bought your ticket for tomorrow? What time is it? And Yunchu was asked by her mother and didn't know how to answer because she hadn't told them they were taking someone else's car yet. Mom, I'm taking my brother's car and he happens to be going back too. And Yunchi heard what was going on. His brother said something happened these past few days, but he didn't expect that their relationship was going out to play with his own sister. The two of them are still going back together. Who would believe this without a cat? My classmate. And Yunchu pretended not to know anything and looked at his sister with a bewildered expression on his face. Anne's mother also looked at her own daughter in confusion. Suddenly, a name flashed through my mind. After all, among the few classmates who came, he was the only one left except for the one who got married. Chu, are you talking about Xiaoyan? Several people on the table looked at An Yunchu with their eyes brushing together. Anne's parents had a good impression of Pei Zian and he was a good candidate. Although Su Yin, sister.in.law, has only seen Pei Zian 2 or 3 times, she still has a good impression of him and is a person worth entrusting. And Yun saw everyone staring at her for the first time, and her face blushed. Her mind suddenly went back to normal, and she stuttered, "It's him, but it's not what you think." And Yunchu, isn't this place without 300 taels of silver? At first, what do you think we are thinking? My brother teased her and looked at what my sister had to say. Brother, how could you even be like this? She felt ashamed and embarrassed. Sister, Yan is a person who values emotions. The things he sees will not change, but there is only one time that makes me puzzled. And Yunchu said, and everyone became interested. Brother, what's going on? And Yunchu knew that his younger sister was interested, and he really wanted to know what their inner thoughts were. Before the college entrance examination, Ian's decision was to study abroad and take over his family's business after completing his studies. However, as he approached filling out his application, he gave up studying abroad and chose to join the military instead. I was startled and asked him several times without saying anything. But when Ian's parents called me and asked me to persuade him, he still made a decisive choice. Later, seeing how determined he was, his parents couldn't help but unify. After listening to An Yunchu's words, no one said anything, especially An Yunchu. The older brother continued, actually, he will change his decision either because of something or because of someone, and that person must have a very important position in his mind, otherwise he won't give up. Brother said it all, but when he said, this person, he looked at his sister and spoke in a more serious tone. And Yunchu had completely forgotten what she had said before, but when she heard her brother say about the status of this person in his mind, she felt very uncomfortable and couldn't express this feeling. She didn't like this feeling very much. She really wanted to know who this person was, but she didn't expect her actions to react faster than her brain. Who is that person? She asked softly, wanting to know who it was, but also afraid that this person was unshakable in his mind. Seeing his own sister's situation, it seemed that she had forgotten. He shook his head. I'm not sure, I asked him a few times, but he didn't say anything. And Yunchu had a bad idea and he was ready to tease her. Tomorrow, you'll take his car. Can you help my brother ask? I really want to know which character it is. Me. And Yunchu was startled. I'll give it a try tomorrow. She had no confidence, but she really wanted to know. Anne's mother felt it was a pity. Unfortunately, such an excellent child already has someone in his heart. If not, he can make a pair with Chu. Anne's mother said these words, and An Yunchu sprayed soup out. The older brother and sister.in.law laughed wildly, but the father did not participate. Mom, what are you talking about? Chaotic Mandarin duck chart. Your daughter is so beautiful like a flower, are you afraid no one wants her? And Yunchu regained her composure and retorted uneasily. That's right, my Chu is the most beautiful. Xiao Chu, please tell Ian to help take care of his younger sister more. And Yunchu also has this idea. It's also a good choice for his younger sister to be with him, but considering that he's serving in the Northwest and the environment is harsh, Ian is not 100% sure he will come back at the moment, so I'm conflicted about him, but I still need to pay more attention to him. Well, I know now. I'll tell him tomorrow. After a meal, the conversation was mostly about Pei Zian. And Yunchu really liked to hear his name and felt like he was right beside him.